We'll see.
Speaking of, while we're talking about the teenager now, my God.
14, freshman in high school.
Teenager
officially.
who's been sitting in with us for the last 3 things we did.
Mm-hmm.
So that noise floor that you're probably hearing in the background, all the squeaks and stuff, that's him. It's not the fact that I'm just down here at Raven's house this time.
No.
But the reason I bring that up is because really good guitar player, and he's in there with your brother right now, and they're jamming, so we might pick something up.
Yes.
And if so, just deal with it.
Just consider it an extra little mini performance that you paid for with this bonus episode. So.
Yeah. Hopefully they're not so good in the background that we get copyright strike.
Hopefully not. We'll see, though.
So we're here to share some stories, and this is playlist that you picked.
Yeah.
What?
I'm calling it New Obsessions Revisited.
Okay.
So in our regular season, in our regular episode, in the past, we have done a list called New Obsessions because I wanted to make sure that not only are we talking about all the music of the past, but we're talking about the music from the present. I know we talk about the Billboard Hot 100 hit or whatever, but we don't really get to choose those.
No, we don't.
And with this New Obsession Revisited, we get the luxury of talking about new music that we have discovered that either may be new period or new to us. So talking about more music, and hopefully we can share a little bit of insight on the music that we're liking at the moment.
Well, I'm not redoing my graphic, so my shit says more New Obsession songs.
That's fine. That's fine.
But yeah, just stuff that we hope you go listen to and enjoy because we've enjoyed it, you know?
Yeah, you know.
Why don't you go ahead and start us? We're going to tell 5 stories from our list, or if you just added 5 songs to the end of your list like you talked about. I think I have 30 on my list, but I'm only telling 5 stories.
I mean, I could add more, but yes, I only have 5 stories for today.
All right, let's have it.
All right, my first pick is If I Ever Leave This World Alive by Flogging Molly. While I have probably talked till I'm blue in the face about my latest trip to Ireland, and I'm sure people are tired of hearing about it, I will try to be brief. Going to Ireland opened me up to a lot more Celtic-inspired artists, and this is one of my favorites. But I'm curious as to know, what did Molly do, and why are we punishing her for it?
I always thought of it as like a sexual innuendo or something.
No, I mean, flogging is whipping, essentially.
Yeah, I don't know. They have some weird slang, so
I don't know.
It could have just sounded good to them.
If I hear the term flog from my dad, it usually means fucking, so.
There you go.
So what's first on your list?
It's a song called My Medicine by artist named Stillman. I heard this song in 2 completely different ways back in December of last year, and both listens made me realize just how goddamn broken I was bound to be for the foreseeable future. The Songfinch acoustic version popped up in my recommended videos on YouTube first of all, so I watched it like a dummy. This was at a phase in my wife's cancer journey where we still didn't have any answers, just massive worries, and a bunch of remembering just how many people we've known that this affliction has taken out, and recently. So when YouTube's version delivered lyrics completely different from the original track, it packed an emotional punch which left me balled up in the dark for the better part of a day. When I next checked my phone, I found a lengthy message from someone I loved dearly who hadn't said much of anything to me in roughly a decade. And getting that message gave me hope that everything was going to be okay, so I went and listened to the original version of Stillman's haunting song, Still a Dummy, then cried myself to sleep, wherein my dreams were vivid for the first time in ages and healing was always the outcome. Ever since, I've been sure to routinely take my medicine, by ear of course, and strongly encourage you to do the same.
I think people would forgive you for being a little emotional at this point in time.
I was.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm usually a little emotional anyway, so
Yeah.
that period I was very emotional.
I keep telling people, you know how the Hulk, his whole secret is to stay angry? Yeah, I stay emotional, bitch. There's always some level of emotion there. Like, I'm always on the verge of crying at some point, whether it be happy, sad, frustration. Yeah, the dam's always getting ready to bust.
Yeah.
So
I know that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Your next pick.
Yep. Next on my list is About Her Again by Sun Little. I stumbled upon this artist after really being in my feels one night. Speaking of feelings. Pretty sure it had to do with the whole unemployment thing, but I digress. I was initially listening to Childish Gambino radio when I was pleasantly surprised by this soulful track. This is the one that I sent to you, thinking that you were going to be into it. You sent me back another track and you were like, this is what level I'm on right now. And it was right before you guys told me about Megan's cancer diagnosis. So going back, I was very confused as to why you were in a different kind of feels at the moment. Mm-hmm. But now knowing what I know, I'm like, oh, okay. So he was fighting his own demons at the moment. So
I'm always fighting them demons. Yeah, I know.
What's next for you?
Jellyfishing at Night by Your Boy Sponge. Mm-hmm. I'd seen a few of the Your Boy Sponge rap videos on YouTube just from random browsing and always enjoyed them. SpongeBob fan that I am, but I'd honestly never considered using them to my advantage. You see, my son, who tends to control the TV, adamantly refused to watch SpongeBob.
Weird.
So I'm actually stuck with a television playing crap I could happily live without ever seeing again, like Coco Melon or Paw Patrol. But both of my kids really love music, especially cartoon music videos. So the short of it is that the boy comes home while I have YouTube playing random videos as I clean, and Jellyfishing at Night was on. Boom. I suddenly have a SpongeBob fan on my hands. I'm sure his mother hates me every time this comes on in their car rides to and from school, but I regret nothing now that the TV is a little closer to middle ground where my kids and I are concerned. It's also great in my opinion because this is the first interest the boy has shown in rap music apart from Baby Metal's song BMC, which doesn't exactly count because it's mostly Japanese metal.
Yeah.
Your next pick. Oh, you want to talk about
it? Dude, I need to comment on it because you sent it to me and I was like, what the fuck? And then I started watching it and I was like, yeah, this makes sense. This tracks for shame.
That second verse of that song.
Schmacks.
It's so good. And then it just becomes something else entirely. Like, it's still good, but it's brutal. Like, the moment he says, then I pulled a flamethrower out of my body. Mm-hmm. Oh, my God.
Dude, can we talk about how it's not Tom Kenny actually doing the rapping?
I don't think it is. I think it's an AI program that they're using auto-tune on.
Okay. Because even though it's, could be an AI program, it's still pretty good. And you would think that Tom Kenny's ass, which he's been recorded, talking in a SpongeBob voice, being like, yeah, come here, bitch,
Well, they also do Sandy and Squidward, and also, so that's why I think it's a computer program.
Okay.
Especially because rap in general would be a little too niche for the voice actors to just get together and decide, here's what we're doing.
Yeah. Next on my list is Better in Color by Lizzo. Recently, I started going back to the gym because during the summer, our 14-year-old nephew, comes to stay with us for a week. And in order to get in better shape for football season, he asked me if we could hit the gym every morning. I agreed because I love the damn creep. But man, did I not do a good job of keeping myself in shape, because trying to keep up with his ass is the reason I'm a little slow moving today. Oh, the song. Yeah, it came on while I was working out on a mix, and yeah, it totally works.
Well, all right.
Yeah.
Strange admission here.
Yeah.
I don't really know much of any Lizzo's music.
Wow.
So that, if we ever cover it, will be a definite first time around for me. I'm trying to stay virginal to the music until such a time comes.
I'm going to be a little ballsy right now, but this is bonus content. I'm going to make an educated guess as much as I know about you and your musical taste. I'm going to hope and anticipate that your favorite album, if we ever cover that artist, is the 'Cause I Love You album. The one where she's naked on the front.
Oh, okay.
So just a wild guess, but I could be stepping outside of my lane on that one. We'll see.
I'm not sure what to make of that yet, but maybe we'll get there
eventually. Maybe we will. Who knows?
My third pick here was Pretty by Lil Yachty. Major thanks to Semi-Friendly Podcast's contributor, The Bearded One, for turning me on to Lil Yachty's Let's Start Here album, since it's strongly in the running for my 2023 album of the year so far. Rayburn and I will get around to covering it in full eventually. For now, I just thought I'd give everyone a tool for clearing kids out of a room when you're wanting them to leave. Doesn't matter the circumstance, so long as you're not opposed to them hearing some adult language, just turn this song on. Watch their eyes get real wide, see their body language turn to clear discomfort, and you won't have to wait long until they peace out. This was a trick I employed numerous times on a recent cabin trip. Whether we were hot tubbing, trying to converse on the back patio, or looking for alone time, this never failed to get the job done when it came to making the young people take their nosy asses somewhere else. usually not without one of them shouting, "Ooh, y'all are gross!" before leaving us free of their company.
I love that, especially with what you've said about your kids and their love of music and your love of music. I love that you're now communicating with your children through music.
It ain't my kids.
It's other people's kids?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
My kids wouldn't get it at this point, but other people's kids, you turn on a song talking about, "Come bust this pussy open."
Oh my God. Okay. All right. Well, I never heard the song, and now I know why. All right. Next on my list is Constellations by the Oh Hellos. Blue, for those of you that don't know, is my spouse, has always taken a different approach when it comes to discovering new music. He usually is more of an adventurous type, taking the time to listen to similar artists to the ones he already likes, to which I've always admired about him. While I remain inside my custom song lists that I create, I will always appreciate him for filtering out the good music for me and still continually being surprised by recommendations like these.
I dig it.
All right. Love your retort. I'm just fucking with you.
I mean, when it's personal like that, I don't really feel like I need to add. The dude has definitely introduced me to some shit over the years that I never saw coming.
He's a wild card. He's a wild card.
He is that. And wild cards are fun to have around. That's for sure. My next pick was Her Eyes by Fame on Fire. An admission which will likely surprise nearly no one. I know a number of sex workers.
What?
To be clear, I don't pay any of these mostly wonderful people for sex. My knowing them is an offshoot of websites like Twitter and Instagram, making interaction with public figures a commonality, as well as the OnlyFans phenomenon, seeing a few people from most every social circle now selling explicit content online. My not-so-secret love of the female form has made me both an easy mark and collaborator, poet, all that.
Got it. You love your muses.
I mention this so that it sounds less weird to your ears when I admit that roughly a third of the music on this playlist comes from those sex workers. And I share this not only as a possibly juicy talking point, but also as a lead-in for my most recent case of old man is getting terrified of technology. On Instagram, I follow back anyone who follows me. A few months ago, it seems right.
It does seem right, but unfortunately that is not the world we live in anymore.
But a few months ago, I was followed by an admittedly gorgeous woman who's very clearly running a business with her body.
Okay,
right?
Yeah.
I liked one of her stories which had this Fame on Fire song in it because A, I liked the song, and B, the visual inspired me to write. Anyway, she starts talking to me. And being a public figure myself...
Oh, God. Where is this going? I'm so intrigued right now.
I'm used to responding in kind, looking for signs of bots, ChatGPT, that sort of thing. No red flags, right? She just seemed like someone who needed to vent for a while. Fair enough. Even for strangers, I'm not opposed to being a shoulder. Weeks go by, and she's still writing on occasion. Never asking me for money, to subscribe, ask for a menu, none of that, right? I eventually find out that she's a fan of my poetry and has been for some time. I can dig that. But then the internet starts showing how creepy it can get with our data. She knows I live within 30 miles of her and wants to meet up, as in hook up. It's part of her business model, but she's not interested in my money. She just wants to feel like she's inspired my prose. I kindly decline, but make clear she already has been an inspiration, right?
The writing.
Say as a nice person.
Mm-hmm.
So the moral is that the world continues getting stranger by the day, and I've become such an old fart that I'm now turning down free sex from people who normally ask you to pay for that privilege. Wouldn't mind a girlfriend, but this story scenario isn't exactly what I have in mind.
Mm.
I both love and hate my life.
Well, since you shared your personal story, I'm not going to comment on it.
You comment all you want.
I mean, I can. There are questions I have, but not for this episode.
No, there's nothing out of the ordinary, nothing weird. Not on my end. I just wasn't expecting that.
Mm-hmm.
Normally people are just talking to talk, looking for someone to talk to. Not, hey, I'd like to fuck you for free, even though I ask people to fuck me for money.
Anyway.
Next
on my list is Meeting the Master by Greta Van Fleet. No story.
I had to look at my thing to make sure I didn't use that as it's on my list.
I'm sure it is.
It's not a story. Go ahead.
No story. Just counting down the days till the new full album release as I try and fail to get everyone I know to go see the Starcatcher show with me in July.
Have you seen the video? The live they released? It's not even 2 weeks ago now. They released a live video showing the very first time they performed it.
Oh, and how everybody freaked out about it?
The lead singer on stage. This is the first time that anyone in the world will ever have heard this song.
Yeah, it leaked.
Ooh.
The audio leaked. And I originally sent you the audio. And I was like, oh man, like it's going down. Because the Meeting the Master song, they've since released one more song from that album. But the Meeting the Master song, oh my God. Like I listened to it and I was just like, if this is anything, even a fraction of what we are to expect from the new album, which coming off of At Garden's Gate, that was epic. And I just got that album on vinyl. But going into it, I'm like, if this is anything of what's to come, I think we'll be pleasantly surprised.
And everything about that song is so good. Like even down to the last second
I know
of that song, like where he starts saying all of our love right there at the end. There's something about like the ring in his voice as he's doing it.
And I sent it to my dad, who's a Greta fan, but he's Greta fan that sound like he likes the way that they sound like Led Zeppelin. So like Through the Fires or something like that album, or a Highway Tune, like things like that. That's his shit. He even liked Heat Above from Garden's Gate.
There's some bangers on there. It's not all slow.
No, but I showed him Meeting the Master, and this man has the audacity to tell me, well, I'm not really religious, but and I'm like, what? You are not religious? The man that tells me every day, Jesus needs to be in your heart. He loves you. Like, I'll be just bitching about my day, and he goes, hey, Ray, Jesus loves you. And I'm like, okay, thanks, Dad.
What's funny is I think what they were going for in that track, we're way off topic here, but you told a story about Meeting the Master. Lyrically, to me, and I read something online too, it seems like they were looking for that caught up in it cult mentality, like where you have that out of body bliss type of experience. Even some people, in church, they feel the spirit or whatever they say. Like you can tell that's what they're going for, and they fucking nailed it. It's part of why I really like certain kinds of Christian rock, because you can tell there's so much like passion underneath the surface. Yeah. And I may not be a religious person, but I'm a motherfucking passionate person.
It really reminds me of a combination of things: celestial, medieval, Midsummer.
Yeah, Midsummer comes to mind for sure.
So that whole cult mentality and them having their own religion, their own set of rules, their whole, we feel a feeling as a collective sort of thing. That I get major vibes from that. And I loved Midsummer, as fucked up as it was. I thought it was cinematically beautiful. And I thought that it was one of those that once you see it once, you will absolutely never forget it. So, it's going to be an experience. And if I can convince anybody to go with me to go see the show, they're now making it like, how people get dressed up for like Rocky Horror? People are getting dressed up based off of like the theme of the album for Greta shows. Like the Through the Fire shows was like all 70s bell-bottom pants, a lot of orange, a lot of 70-esque things. And then moving through, the albums, it's just getting like a lot of capes and flowy gowns and,
royal courts.
Yeah. And I'm like, if I'm going to go, I'm gonna go in costume. Like it's going to be awesome. So just a thought if you want to go.
I know. I can feel the pressure over here.
I know you got a lot of stuff going on in that month. So I will forgive you, but if you do miss out, I wholeheartedly do not apologize for all the epicness that I will talk about if I go to the show and love it.
I'm at peace with it. It is what it is. I already missed Copeland this year.
I know. It was partially my fault.
I've missed a lot, but okay. Last one. It's Party With Us by the Wee Beasties. There are 1,000,001 stories about Richard Haskins, frontman of the Wee Beasties, but I thought I'd share some of my own, since he and I go all the way back to grade school. I'm not sure what, if anything, I've shared prior to now, so I'll just give you a quick history since my friend Holly has kept him on my brain recently by promoting his group's awesome work with the new album. Richard once dedicated Nirvana's Rape Me to me when we were still in elementary school. Back when school shootings were pretty rare in the States, he wore a trench coat to school and got suspended for obviously joking with the vice principal in the hallway that he had a gun. Richard,
funny joke.
It was at the time, because like I said, it didn't happen once or twice a day, like it does.
That was pre-Columbine?
It was after Columbine.
Oh, well,
things weren't, they weren't crazy and we were kids trying to joke.
Yeah.
You know, zero tolerance was like a brand new thing to our brains. We weren't raised with it, you know?
Yeah.
Richard used to write me with t-shirt ideas and planned to work with my Crude Mama's Boys group prior to my abandoning it. In middle school, we used to co-author letters to our friend Crystal, which were always hilarious because she was one of my best friends who I was trying to seriously engage with, and he would follow my nerd shit with overtures of his hard-on for her. I think most of his shit was just about his penis and where he wanted to put it in different parts of her body. Anyway, we've always joked plenty when interacting, but my real feelings are that Richard always has good intentions and seems like that true Dentonite who could be hiding around any corner, waiting to make you feel better about your own shitty life. So this is here as a thank you to the guy who may not have married my fruitless groupies, but probably slept with the majority of them along the way. You're doing great things in the world of music, man. Keep at it, and I hope you know that I feel like I'm edging ever closer to being someone who's drunk enough to party with you. Listeners, don't miss the music video for this one.
All right. Well, that
Aaron
does
says,
it.
I'm tired. All right, cut it off.
I'm done. Done, 4 episodes today in total and full off pizza. So,
You know what my takeaway was for today?
Short Kings.
Girl, that's a booty hole.
Oh, God.